Yo, it's your boy Logos, and today we'll react to Killer Mike going on Joe Rogan and discussion of pushback he received because of his political beliefs. This doesn't really surprise me because I watched Killer Mike before on the podcast, plus he has speeches and talks discussing politics. And with all these other entertainers or athletes or anybody else giving their opinions on people like Trump or Biden, at least Killer Mike seems to be informed. He truly does give a damn, and he'll at least have a debate with you, even if he does disagree with you. So even if I don't always agree with every single thing Killer Mike has to say, I still have respect for him, much more compared to other people, especially idiots like Cardi B and such and so forth that walk around with Joe Biden, even though he said, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. Some of the same people that try to act so black and so pro-black, they'll dip and walk for a certain type of white guy, no matter if he says some crazy shit or actually done some crazy shit or said it. Like it doesn't even make sense. But at the end of the day, I don't think these people, especially people like Cardi B, she doesn't know anything about politics. She's not famous or successful from being smart. Stop relying on people that doesn't have any intellect or any type of, I don't know, backing or reason to listen to anything they gotta say besides your political beliefs. I think it's very insulting when Joe Biden or other Democratic leaders or any type of politician or person goes into a black community and brings in some type of rapper or athlete or musician, quote unquote, and that person supporting you is supposed to make me vote for you. Not your policy, not your plans, not your record. But because we have this dumbass athlete or dumbass musician that's a stripper turned rapper that can only talk about her pussy and this and the other, I'm supposed to vote for you. And it's insane that people like Killer Mike, myself, get pushed back because we're not automatic Democrats. It's a very sad crab in the bucket type of thinking, but it's fine. We're gonna keep making content and keep putting out our message. So let's see what he got to say.
It brings us back to haters.
Yeah.
They can get inspiration from people. You get juice.
Yo, shouts out to that lady who's Emmy nominated that hates me. God bless, God bless your soul, woman. I had never thought about winning an Emmy in my life, but because you hated on me when I got, and she hates me for the most ridiculous reason. God bless her soul. She hates me just because I'm not a Democratic boy. You know what I mean? Like I've had Democrats I like and I push for them, especially locally. But I'm sorry, lady, I can't be a boy. And God bless me to fuck around and get rich. I don't take money from any politicians or political parties. So if you see me stand next to someone, it's because I really believe. And if they don't convince me to believe, I'm not going to stand next to them, right? She wanted me to stand next to somebody. I'm like, sorry, lady, I've had some conversations with her. I've tried my best, but I'm not hating, but it's just ain't my thing. But this chick was just like, I'm going to use my platform to, and I'm like, you don't really have a platform?
Yeah.
But she, in her bio, she's an Emmy-nominated actress. Man, winning that Emmy sure felt good. I blocked her, but I'm sure someone has told her. But I'm just like, holding it, I hope she sees the picture. Like, yeah, thank God for your hate, lady, because it made me care. I went to the ceremonies and walked away with a trophy.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
And to her, there was a study that was done recently about left-wing authoritarianism and the way certain people behave, and that it's like a bunch of different psychological conditions that they're almost indistinguishable from like horrible narcissism. Horrible, like psychotic behavior. Like, see if you can find it. What their conclusions were. But at the fringes, when people, what happens is when you have groups that are ideological groups, whether it's the left or the right.
Yeah.
You're gonna get people that just join that group that are absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And if you don't call it out, then you have a giant problem because people are going to associate you with whatever the worst aspects of your, like right-wing Proud Boys, like that kind of shit.
Yeah.
The experts somehow overlooked authoritarians on the left. Many psychologists wrongly assume that coercive attitudes exist only among conservatives. Of course, it's a human characteristic.
I did a speech for FIRE, for the organization FIRE, and I missaid, I'm sorry, the brown shirts of Italy, but what I meant was the brown shirts of Germany, that as the left, as you accomplish more power politically, don't use it as a bludgeon in the same way you've perceived it to be used against you.
Right.
That is actually a very, very good speech by him. I actually watched it like 2-3 weeks ago. I don't know why I didn't decide to record a reaction to it. I just wanted to watch him talk, and it was a very good speech. I think about 24 minutes or so. But yeah, it's a very good speech, and he talks about not letting power that you're getting after being oppressed, using that same power to oppress other people. Don't be a hypocrite. Don't be like, what's that movie? I think Animal Farm or something like that. Don't turn into the exact same thing that you hate. It's a very good speech.
That you have to rule, quote unquote, in a more fair and equitable way. You can't let your fair and equitable thoughts become totalitarian.
Yeah,
you know
you also can't give in to this crazy instinct that we all humans have to be tribal.
Yes.
And I am a Democrat. I am a lifelong blue no matter
Yes,
who.
yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
That's not
and
wise.
that's both. Yeah, it's both sides. But we tend.
Yes,
I grew
both
up. I was
sides.
fortunate enough to grow up in a household where my grandmother was SCLC member, from Tuskegee, had been a part, born in 1932, had been a part of civil rights stuff. My grandfather. So my grandmother grew up on a farm. Could go to school. They weren't wealthy, but they had food, they had sustenance, they had education. My grandfather grew up working in a sawmill at 8 years old because his father abandoned his family and he had to feed his mothers and sisters. So his mentality was much more libertarian, I would say. His mentality was, if God gave you an appetite and a mind to build a fishing rod, you should be able to catch fish. And my grandmother was like, you shouldn't complain about having to buy a fishing license because the game warden has to make sure things are legit and somebody's to clean up the park. So I got a chance to see these wonderful political arguments between these two people that loved each other. You know, my grandmother, college-educated woman, my grandfather drove a truck and hauled moonshine and gambled, you know what I mean? He married this God-fearing woman. I never saw him walking to church. But they had these great debates that showed me that there are no absolutes, that there are going to be some things from each side that make sense to run a good household. And I watched them just do it right. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad I saw that because I don't feel married to any ideology.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's important.
Shouts out to Betty and Willie. God bless the dead, man.
Yeah, getting attached to ideologies is always a bad idea, particularly when we like human beings in America have two choices.
Yeah.
You have two choices, you have the left and the right. And people just they adhere. They adhere to whatever this side's doing because they want them to win.
Yeah.
And then you have some weird problematic figures like Trump who comes along.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of never-Trumper Republicans.
Yeah.
They don't know what to do. It's
But I say in this crazy-ass country, pay attention to the people who have no chance of winning sometimes because they're going to be some truths told. Like, no matter what you feel about Trump, there was a moment in that debate, Chappelle talks about it, when Trump said, of course these loopholes exist. They exist. He was talking to Hillary.
Yeah.
Like, hell yeah, I'm going to take advantage of the loophole.
Yeah.
Because they also exist for the people who are doing it in your campaign. I was like, finally,
Yes.
a member of the oligarchy class says, yeah, motherfucker, we're cheating.
Yeah.
And I was like, at that point, Americans should have said hard reset.
Yeah.
Like they literally should have said pre-Eisenhower, hard reset. We're gonna reform all this shit. The money's gonna work different. None of us said a goddamn thing. And you know why? Because we're all complacent in some capacity. We're all accompanied in this grand scheme that's fucking us over. And if you don't have an educated constituency of proletariat, it's all just going to kind of reform. So like during this election, people's like, who are you supporting? I was like, I don't give a fuck nationally. I give a fuck that Cornel West is in the race because I'm interested to see what he's going to say. Kennedy, I'm interested just to hear, whatever crazy shit people think he's, whoever else is running. I'm just interested because the two parties we know we got, but there are all these little voices that pop up, that little grains of truth. They stand no chance of winning in some cases, but let me just take a grain of what you're saying, and that way I'll know what to take back to the party that wins and say, hey, what about this? Why do we have money for this, but we don't have money for this,
That's a very interesting take. I never thought of it like that. Well, of course, like when you watch debates, it's always interesting to see different people you never heard of because maybe or maybe not they're from your state, or maybe for the first time they're actually just taking a chance to go on a political stage. But having these ideas, like you said, being talked about that you probably wouldn't hear about from the same politicians from the Republican or Democratic Party is a very insightful thing to take from it. So I do appreciate Killer Mike for saying that because honestly, I didn't think of that at all.
Like Sanders, people told me, like, Mike, you're a business guy. You like money. Sanders even said, hey, I think you're going to be a billionaire. I'm going to tax the shit out of you, too. We were laughing and joking backstage at the Amazon worker strike that we were both supporting. But my thing is, I don't want to pay the government more taxes. But if I got to pay more taxes, let me pay what the guy's playing who's going to educate kids in trades and scholarship for free. Because that way I'm making a 20-year investment so that my 16-year-old daughter, when she's 36, has a much better country full of educated kids versus I bought more missiles. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's possible.
But
The
if
idea that that's not possible
but
is
if you
crazy.
don't put them in now, I am a millionaire. I'm going to do my best to protect my fucking money.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't born a millionaire. You know what I mean? I was born just a working class black kid named Michael.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Michael never liked working at Six Flags or AutoZone or UPS. So once Michael fucked around and figured out how to sing and dance and make some money, Michael wants to save more of his money than spend, you know?
Shoot, good on Killer Mike, man. Every time he hops on here, he always dropping some gems. Probably right after I get done recording this and a few more videos, I'm just gonna go ahead and watch the full podcast with him. Plus Ice Cube one. I think Ice Cube was saying he was gonna go on some like podcast tour, so I'm glad he's doing it too. Very similar to Robert F. Kennedy Jr. But let me know what you think about this stuff down below. I always think Killer Mike is a very insightful person. Even if I don't always agree with him, he still brings a different perspective to it. He's I won't say young. He's like a middle-aged black man who grew up poor, had to make himself successful. But even doing so, he isn't, I don't know, just trying to stick to party lines or lines because of the color of his skin. It's always about what makes sense for himself, the country, and his family. And I agree with him completely too about the missiles compared to having a much more educated, healthy populace. I love the military. I want our veterans to be taken care of. And I think we could take care of our veterans and take care of our children and our future and make our whole country as a whole stronger if we took, a few missiles away and we invested that into homelessness for our veterans and mental health for our veterans. We invested that into education for trade, scholarships, that we could be more educated. That just sounds like a better thing for us to do. Like with COVID, here's another example. This is an example why I don't trust the government actually give a damn about its citizens. Because when COVID was going on, they didn't even, damn, this might get, people won't even see this shit, not because I said COVID, but whatever, fuck it. When the shot was coming around, they didn't suggest going outside, exercising, drinking more water, getting some sunlight, because they said the disease was vulnerable in the sunlight anyway, so you really was going to get sick from that. And now didn't get sick much at all from being outside, exercising, no matter how hard I exercise. It could be extreme cardio or extreme weightlifting. Either way, it was the exact same damn thing. I was pretty healthy regardless. But my point is, they didn't tell people go and do that type of stuff. They said stay inside, be sheltered up, lose your businesses, lose your jobs, lose your money, cut yourself off, be stressed out, be worryful. They didn't do all these things that they could have done to make this country stronger at a quote unquote, I guess, good opportunity to do so. I'm of the opinion that the government doesn't let tragedies go to waste. They'll use it to push it for their own political means. And they had the chance to use COVID to push healthiness and, I don't know, just giving a damn about people. But what did they do? They pushed vaccines and shots to get more money for the pharmaceutical companies. That's just how I see it. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Excuse me. It's your boy Logos, and I'll see you next time. Peace.